My wife invited her ex to her birthday dinner and told me to stop being insecure. I stayed polite, finished my drink, walked out, and that one quiet exit triggered a chain reaction that exposed their affair, destroyed every lie she told her family, and left her begging me to come back. That I used to think relationships ended with shouting, smashed plates, slammed doors. Turns out they can end in a restaurant with dim lights, tasteful jazz, and a waitress who keeps asking if everything is all right. It wasn't, but I kept smiling like an idiot anyway. Her name is Marissa. We'd been together 3 years. Long enough to have a rhythm, short enough that we still talked about plans like, next summer, we should go to Italy. Should we get a dog? Maybe we'll move in next spring. I thought we were good. Not perfect. She had a stubborn streak. I had a tendency to withdraw when stressed, but good. Normal. Functional. So when she invited me to her small birthday dinner with close people, I expected her parents, her cousin, a few of her friends from work. Not him. Not her ex. The dinner was at a trendy wine bar place, the kind where half the lighting comes from candles that cost more than my shoes. I arrived on time. She arrived 15 minutes late, already flushed, already buzzed, talking too fast. Sorry, Jacob dropped me off, she said, laughing. I froze. Jacob? I repeated carefully. She waved her hand. Relax. My ex. We're still friends. You knew that? Yes. I didn't know they were still friends. What I didn't know was that he'd be driving her to dinner where her current boyfriend would be. But I swallowed it. Let it slide. I told myself, pick your battles. That was mistake number one. It got worse. He was already seated, at the head of the table, with a drink in hand like he owned the place. He smiled when he saw me. Hey man, he said casually. Good to finally meet you properly. Properly. Like we were acquaintances and not two men orbiting the same woman at different timestamps. Marissa didn't seem to notice my discomfort. She was glowing, giggling, leaning toward him every time he spoke. At one point, she put her hand on his forearm while laughing at a joke I didn't hear. I wasn't jealous. I was calculating. Every gesture, every microchange, every subtle violation of the normal relationship boundaries checklist. Her father kept glancing at me sympathetically. Her mother kept frowning at Marissa. Her best friend wouldn't make eye contact at all. Everyone felt the tension. Everyone except her. The moment that ended, everything wasn't dramatic. Jacob made a comment about an old memory, some inside joke from when they were together. Marissa laughed and said, Come on, you know our history. Don't be shy. Then she looked at me, actually looked at me, and said, You should be fine with this. He and I have history. Like that explained something. Like that justified something. Like that excused everything. I stayed still for a few seconds, breathing, counting. 1, 2, 3. I could have caused a scene, walked out angrily, thrown the drink. But that's not who I am. So I smiled politely, the kind of polite that's sharper than a knife, and said, Enjoy your dinner. I stood up, pushed the chair back quietly, left my half-finished drink on the table, and walked out. No theatrics, no warnings, just a quiet, final exit. My phone blew up within 10 minutes. First her mom. I'm so sorry. Then her dad. You handled that with more grace than I would have. Then her best friend. You need to know, she's been talking to him more than she told you. Then, surprisingly, Jacob himself. A single text. She told me you two were basically over. Didn't know she lied. That sat in my chest like a stone. I didn't respond. She showed up at my apartment at 7 a.m., mascara smudged, hair messy, wearing the same dress from dinner. She didn't knock gently. She pounded. Open the door. Please. We need to talk. I didn't open it. She eventually left, crying loudly enough for my elderly neighbor to come out and glare at her. Later that day, her cousin called me. What he said made me sit down on the edge of my bed and stay there, unmoving, for a long time. Because apparently, after I left, Jacob stayed. And so did Marissa. And somewhere between the dessert and the last round of drinks, Jacob told her entire family the truth. The truth he said she begged him to keep secret. The truth she never imagined would leave his mouth. The truth that turned her birthday dinner into a disaster. What truth? When I woke up the next day, sunlight was spilling through the blinds like nothing had happened. But my body remembered. My chest felt tight, my jaw was locked, and my phone was buzzing nonstop on the nightstand. 10 missed calls. 14 unread messages. All from her. I didn't open a single one. Instead, I got dressed slowly, deliberately, like every movement was my first step into a new life. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and let the quiet settle. For the first time in years, the apartment didn't feel tense. No silent accusations, no forced small talk, no pretending. But peace never lasts long. Around noon, my best friend Mark showed up uninvited. He walked in, holding his phone like it was radioactive. "Dude, have you seen this?" "Seen what?" He turned the screen toward me. It was a screenshot, a long post written by her ex-public. Brutal. No filters, no sugarcoating, no protecting her reputation. He wrote about everything. How she'd been texting him for months. How she'd been telling him she wasn't sure her relationship with me had passion anymore. How she invited him to that dinner specifically to manipulate me into reacting. How she told him I was emotionally boring and too stable to be exciting. And the final blow, the reason he exposed her. She had begged him to pretend they were still close so she could test me. But the man had dignity she didn't expect. He ended his post with 8 simple words. "I won't be used to hurt another man." I felt humiliation, yes, but mostly relief. A strange, settling relief. The truth wasn't ugly anymore. It was freeing. It wasn't about me. It never had been. Within hours, the comments exploded. Her cousins, her brother, her aunt, all calling her out. Calling her manipulative. Calling her cruel. Calling her out for lying to them. To me, to everyone. And then the knock came. I already knew who it was. She stood in the hallway, mascara smudged, eyes swollen, wearing the same dress from the night before like she hadn't slept at all. "Please," she whispered, voice shaky. "Can we talk?" Her hands were trembling. She reached toward me, like she expected me to fold the way I always used to. But this time, nothing in me moved. Not anger, not desire, not love, just calm. She tried again. "Everything online is exaggerated." He twisted things. "I didn't cheat. I just felt confused." "You invited him to your birthday dinner," I said quietly. "You let him sit there pretending you two were some sentimental memory. You didn't care how it made me feel." Her chin quivered. "I was trying to make you jealous. I thought you didn't care anymore." "And you never considered another option?" I asked softly. "Which option?" "Talking to me like an adult." She flinched as if I'd slapped her. People in the hallway began peeking through their doors. Whispers. Cameras. Her humiliation was now public and irreversible. She reached out again. "Please, don't end this. Don't leave me when I'm already losing everything." And for the first time, I truly saw her. Not the woman I used to love, but the woman she had become. Someone who only understood love when it threatened to walk away. Someone who valued me only when others didn't validate her. Someone who never realized security isn't boring, it's sacred. I stepped back. Her hand hung in the air, touching nothing. "We're not talking today," I said. "There will be a time for conversations. Maybe. But right now, I need distance." Her face collapsed, and she turned away, covering her mouth as tears poured down her cheeks. She stumbled down the hallway, broken in a way she never expected to be. And for the first time in a long time, I closed the door and didn't feel trapped behind it. Update point: 3 days passed before I heard from her again. 3 days of silence, block numbers, and the first real sleep I'd had in months. I kept expecting chaos, drama, another public meltdown, but instead, everything was unnervingly quiet. Then her sister called me. Not her sister, Emma. A person who had always been polite, distant, and clearly skeptical of me. This time, though, her voice was soft. Heavy. "Hey, can we talk for a minute? It's about my sister." I braced myself. "What happened now?" "She's not doing well," Emma said. "It's bad. Really bad." At first, I thought Emma was just trying to guilt me into coming back. But then she sent a photo, not of her sister, but of the front door of my ex's parents' house. It was covered in printed screenshots of the ex's confession that she manipulated me, cheated emotionally, humiliated me. Her own cousins had taped them there. "She's been hiding in her room," Emma continued. "Won't eat, won't talk. Keeps saying she ruined the only good thing she ever had." I leaned back against the wall, rubbing my face. Part of me wanted to feel sympathy. The old version of me probably would have run to her the moment she cried. But something in me had shifted. "She did ruin it," I said quietly. "And she did it on purpose." "I know," Emma sighed. "Look, I'm not calling to convince you to take her back. Honestly, I'm not sure you should. She's been a mess for months. Sneaking around, lying, playing games. We all saw it. We just didn't think it would explode like this. She told me you all believed her, I muttered. Emma laughed bitterly. She lies to us the same way she lies to herself. We just stopped questioning it. There was a long silence between us. Then Emma said something that surprised me. She's terrified you're going to expose more. She says you might post your site online, and she won't survive another blow. I exhaled slowly. I'm not posting anything. I told her that. She didn't believe me. Another pause. Then Emma's voice softened with something like guilt. She says she wants to apologize. A real apology. But she says she can't face you unless you give her permission. Permission. Funny word, considering the last few weeks. After the call, I sat alone on the couch, staring at my silent apartment. For years, she had swallowed all the space in the room. Her needs, her emotions, her fears, all of it louder than anything I felt. Now everything was finally still. And in that stillness, one realization settled. I didn't miss her. Not her voice. Not her presence. Not her chaos. What I missed was the version of myself I had lost while trying to love her. That evening, she finally broke the silence. Not with a dramatic speech, not with begging, not with manipulation, but with one simple text. If you ever want to hear the truth, I'll tell you everything. For the first time, she wasn't trying to win. She was surrendering. It should have moved me. It didn't. Final update that I agreed to meet her, not because I wanted her back, and not because I needed closure. I met her because I wanted to look at the woman who had lied, manipulated, humiliated me, and see if she was finally capable of the one thing she had always refused to give. The truth. We met at a small cafe near her parents' house. Neutral ground. Public. No chance of drama. She walked in slowly, like every step hurt. No makeup, no confidence, no performance. Just a woman who had finally run out of lies to hide behind. When she sat down across from me, her hands were shaking. "Thank you for coming," she whispered. I nodded. "Say what you need to say." She swallowed hard, staring at the table. And then, for the first time in our entire relationship, she didn't start with an excuse. She started with, "I did everything you think I did." She admitted it all. The secret conversations with her ex. The late-night texting she insisted was innocent. The way she accidentally invited him to her birthday dinner knowing exactly how it would hurt me. The lies to her family about me being controlling. The way she'd planned to make me look insecure so she could justify leaving if her ex wanted her back. And then she admitted the worst part, the part even I didn't see coming. "I didn't think you'd leave. Ever. I thought you'd get jealous, fight for me, say something dramatic, something emotional, and then I'd feel wanted again. I wanted the attention. I wanted to feel powerful. I didn't think you'd actually walk out." Her voice cracked. "When you stood up and left the restaurant, I realized you weren't playing. And when he told the truth, when my family stopped believing me, I realized I destroyed everything for nothing. He didn't want me. And you finally stopped letting me manipulate you." She wiped her face with the back of her hand. "I didn't know who I was without someone worshiping me. And you loved me too calmly, too genuinely. I wasn't used to it. I didn't appreciate it. So I sabotaged it, because I thought you'd always stay no matter what I did." I leaned back in my chair. For years, I believed I wasn't enough. For years, she made me feel replaceable, unappreciated, unseen. Now she was admitting that she sabotaged the relationship because I wasn't toxic enough for her drama to thrive. There was no anger in me, just clarity. "I'm glad you told the truth," I said calmly. "But I'm not coming back." She nodded slowly, tears falling. "I know. I cared about you. Deeply. But loving you felt like handing you a weapon and hoping you wouldn't use it. And I'm tired of bleeding." She covered her face with her hands, shoulders shaking. "I don't deserve forgiveness." "You're right." She looked up, startled by how gently I'd said it. "But I hope you learn from this," I added. "Not for me, for yourself. Because you can't build relationships out of attention and lies. Eventually, the truth always crawls out." She let out a broken laugh. It already did. There was nothing left to say. I stood up. She didn't ask me to stay, didn't beg, didn't follow. Just sat there, defeated, staring at the consequences she'd spent years pretending didn't exist. When I walked out of that cafe, I felt something surprising. Not relief, not triumph, not anger. Peace. For the first time in a very long time, I felt like myself again. Not the version she tried to shape, not the man she expected to endure her chaos, but a man who finally understood his worth. Her ex didn't destroy her. Her family didn't destroy her. I didn't destroy her. She did that all by herself. And I finally walked away from the wreckage without looking back.